So I have an interesting question that gets asked to me all the time. A lot of times by other rental companies, but predominantly by people who are not in the rental industry. They ask how many tents you have. Now, when someone in the rental industry asks, they're trying to gauge where they are from where you are, because having a lot of tents usually means you're doing pretty well. When someone who doesn't know anything about the rental industry, they're just trying to get an idea how big you are. And I always felt like a little weird giving the answer, because I feel I don't have that many tents. I have about 30 to 40 tents. I don't even know how many I have. It's hard to quantify it, because sometimes you may have frame pieces for a bunch of tents and maybe 2 extra tops, or you got middle sections or whatever. So we'll just say 30 to 40 tents I have. And I do $500,000 a year with that. I know several people who got 3-4 times as many tents as I have, but they're not doing anywhere close to $500,000 a year. So to me, it's not a very good gauge. What is a good gauge is how much do you make a year? And I'll answer that every day. I believe that when someone wants to know, you should tell them, because they're trying to figure out what to do in life. Do they want to go in business for themselves? Do they want to go in the rental industry? If you ask a doctor how much he makes, he's probably going to not tell you, but he should, because it's informing people. So I've always been raised not being shy about money. But anyways, the how many tent question, how many tents do you have question, I'm no longer feeling shy or reticent to say, because what I realize, it's what goes under the tent. The tent is like the bread on a hamburger. The real, where you make your money, is the meat, which is the tables, chairs, catering equipment, all the stuff that goes under the tent, or the stuff that's going in the banquet hall. It's not so much about the tents, because you have to get new tents all the time, but tables and chairs can last a really long time, 20 years for tables or longer. And if you keep your chairs clean, I've had white resin chairs for 15 years now that look close to brand new. So it's not about the tents that you own, it's really what's going under it is what is making you the money. The dude that has 3 times the amount of tents I have, he's not doing anywhere close to me, because he's not doing weddings and he's not doing big catering things. I know a lot of you guys out there are saying to me, a lot of your caterers are not like mine. A lot of your caterers own things, so you're not getting as much money from caterers. But here, all the caterers have a culture of, they want to show up, they want to cook the food, they want to serve the food, and they want to be out. They don't want to be putting up a tent, they don't want to be cleaning 1,000 dishes, they don't want to transport the heavy cooking equipment, so they get that all from us. So for me, I can do a 20 by 20 tent outside of a barn venue or outside of one of my wedding tents for the caterer. I can fill that with an oven, a grill, hot boxes, fridges, dishes, and linens and all that. And my one catering job can be between $3,000 and $4,000, which is pretty decent sized wedding. I can do a whole 40 by 100 with basic tables and chairs and just a little bit of stuff and still be between $3,000 and $4,000. Fancier things like farm tables and fruitwood chairs and fancier linens and fancier lights, that's going to run $8,000 to $12,000. But still, my one 20 by 20 catering job is $3,000 to $4,000, and I'm doing tons of those every week, because we got barns all over the place. I got my wedding tents up. We're doing catering tents at other people's wedding tents, because other companies don't own dishes and cooking equipment, so they got their 40 wide up, and we come and set the kitchen up. So it's not so much how many tents I have, it's what's going under those tents. And if I'm doing $20,000 on a busy weekend just in catering equipment, and the dude that I know who owns 3 times as many tents as me is doing $10,000 in just 20 by 20 backyard parties, I think I'd rather be where I am with less tents, but more money total of the stuff that's going under it. So when someone asks you how many tents you have, it's not an important question, but they're just trying to gauge where you are in relation to them, or just how big of a company you are. So don't get mad at them, don't be afraid to answer it. But remember, your goal is to get stuff under that tent. Sure, it's nice when you're starting out, you just get a tent and it's a quick, easy setup. But as you're growing and you want to get more money, it's the tables and chairs that go under, the sides, the lights, the games, the garbage cans, the cocktail tables, all that is where your real money's coming at. So when someone asks how many tents you have, go ahead and answer, and you can just say, well, the quick answer is I got 10 tents, but we put a lot of stuff under the tent, and that's where the money comes from. So I'm not gonna feel bad about that anymore, because I've just come to a realization that it's not about how many tents I have, it's about the quantity and quality, the expensive stuff that's going under those tents. Thanks for watching.